Today, I am the big 4-0. That is right. It is my birthday today, August 21st, and I am so excited to record a birthday episode. When I made the decision to record this, I thought, you know what? I want to talk to 2019. Look at that. Getting emotional on my birthday episode? Come on, Ann. My 2018 self. I was stuck. I was dropping my kids off at school and coming home and going to sleep. I did not feel the passion and the excitement that I do today. And if you are in that boat, or if you are in that journey of getting to where you want to go and really creating a life where you can thrive, this episode is for you. We're going to talk all about actions that you can take to really set yourself up for success and, create that trajectory that you want so that in a couple years, you look back and go, wow, I'm thankful for the actions that I took and what I did to get myself to this point. Because I'm so grateful that 2019 me saw that she needed a change. I'm so grateful for her. Let's get into it. I really think I should cut this part out and re-record this intro, but that's just not real. This was real, so we're keeping it. I really hope I did not scare anyone away with that introduction. The emotions come out because 2019 was a year. And so I just want you to know that this episode is going to be fun and lighthearted and really just kind of like a conversation with that person who is just feeling stuck. You do not feel like you have momentum. You do not feel like you're learning and you're growing and you're thriving. And that is okay. It is okay to be there. It's not okay to stay there. And so what are some actions you can take? What are some things you can do to get the ball rolling and to get momentum moving? Because that is what we want, right? We want to be moving in a certain direction. We may not know where the end point is, but if we stay stuck where we're at, we're never going to get there and we're never going to find it. And so that is not what we want for ourselves and what we want for other people around us. And so when we get moving, it's actually going to inspire not only ourselves, but movement with others around us. And so let's figure it out. I'm going to talk today about 5 things that I really had to start to shift to see a physical shift in my life. First and foremost, I had to think about where I was. Now, I am going to suggest that the first thing you start doing is journaling. And some of you might just not love this idea. And actually, I got told to journal for years before I started journaling. But here's what's so great. Like scientifically, here's what's so great about journaling. What you're doing when you journal is you are taking things out of your brain and giving it words on paper. You're getting it out of there, right? This is why they suggest you do a brain dump of your to-do list, because it releases that anxiety of all the things you need to remember by writing it down. And I would say the same is true for your life. You are going to be able to get rid or at least lessen some of those anxieties around what you're doing and where you're going and what your future is by getting it out of your head and getting it down on paper. And maybe that's one of the first things you journal about is, where do I want to go? Where am I headed? What, in a perfect world, if I could change 5 things, what would I change right now? Right? What is holding me back? What is causing me to pause on living the life I want? What is causing me to pause on moving forward with the dream that I have? Start writing these things down. You actually take power away from them when you write them down. And here's what's so interesting. When I would write about a positive topic, it would just like flow out of me. I am naturally a positive person. However, when I was in that rut back in 2019, I was like dwelling and living in the negative in my head. Here's what's crazy. When I had to write down those negative thoughts, I like couldn't do it. The journal, like I just wouldn't be able to write because I was like, well, that's ridiculous. I can think it, I can believe it to be true, but if I had to write it down, I was like, well, that's dumb. That's not going to happen. And that's, I don't really think that, even though I was thinking it. And so get it out of your head and write it down. And you might even like laugh at yourself like I did. Like, that's just not true. Me saying like, I don't know what to do. That's not true. You do know what to do. I don't know what I want. Yes, you do. You do know what you want. And so it was just amazing that how much physically my body was reacting to writing the words. And yet when I had them in my mind, they were totally justified. And so get it out of your head, get it down on paper. There is tons of evidence that suggests why that is so positive to start journaling. That would be my first one. One of the things that I will share with you and get really vulnerable about is one of the things I had heard back in 2019 was write a letter to yourself from yourself a year from now. You guys, I have sat down to write this letter every December. 2019 December, December 2020, December 2021. I went to write this letter. And some of them, I only started with one sentence, which is, "And I'm so proud of you." And then I would like start to cry because I would be like, am I going to be proud of myself in a year? Am I actually going to do what I said I was going to do? Like that I set out to do, or did I give up? And I would not write the letter. A friend of mine and I we heard this idea together and we both said we were going to go write that letter. And Abby did every single time. And every time I found myself hesitating or not finishing it. I literally have journal entries. I should take pictures of them. Look for Instagram. You'll see them on there. Where I went to write it. And I couldn't even write it because I didn't even believe that I would take the actions I needed to take to get to where I wanted to go. And that was a mindset, not just in 2019 when I felt stuck, but even as I started to learn and grow in 2020 and 2021, I could not write the letter. Finally, in December of 2022, I finished a letter about this year, 2023. And so don't think that you're going to start journaling and your mindset is just going to switch within minutes or seconds or a week or a month. Like, this is a journey, and you kind of have to untrain your brain and retrain it in a way that is going to set you up for success. And so it's not going to happen overnight, and that's okay. We are not here to get overnight success. We are here to learn and grow and build the future that we want to build. So number 1, journal. Number 2, what are you putting in your brain? What books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening to? And if you are not doing either of those 2 things and you want to change your belief in yourself, I would go there. I would go there. Books that changed my life. Back in 2019, this sales group that I've talked about, this sales course that I took, they suggested reading The Psychology of Winning. And so before even buying that course, I bought that book and I started reading it. And you guys, this book was written a long time ago, but it is packed with information. Like, you could read one chapter, which is only a couple pages, and then redigest that chapter for a week. It's got so much golden goodness about who winners are, how winners think, how winners take action. And even if you believe you're not a winner, by the end of the book, you start to see and reflect the actions it is suggesting. Other books I would suggest is The Power of Positive Leadership by John Gordon. Any of the John Gordon stuff is good. That one, I consumed the entire book, front to back. Then the second time, I reread it and took notes on each chapter. And so that one to me is just dynamite. Back in 2019, I also started reading High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. And I will still highly recommend this one. I will recommend it to you, but I want you to know something that happened during this read that I think could really help you. I started reading that book, High Performance Habits, and I got to the chapter on clarity and I stopped reading. At the end of each chapter, he kind of gave you an activity to do. And one of them was like journaling on what you need to get clear on to move forward. And I'm not kidding you when I say I started at least 5 journal entries, like trying to get clear. And I got mad. I got so upset. I don't know what I need. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I could do. I don't know. I'm unclear. That's why I'm reading this book, is to gain clarity. And I stopped reading, and I still to this day have not finished that book. So right now, mental note, I need to go back to that book because I do love Brendan's messages and his energy and his viewpoints and his research. So I need to go back to that one, but I want you to listen to that for just a second. If you are not ready to receive something, it will feel uncomfortable and it will just feel unaligned. And that is okay. I'm giving you permission to stop reading a book. I'm giving you a permission to sit in that uncomfortability for just a little bit. And maybe you just need to shift and go find something else. And that is okay. I really recognized in that moment that that is what I was lacking. I was lacking clarity. And my shift finally came in March of 2020. But trying to trudge through that book I wasn't gaining anything. I was actually getting more and more stuck. And so I did have to shift and start reading a different book and feel movement in that book before I was ready to receive more information. And so take that with you. If you start to feel something, especially a sense of being stuck, that's a sign. Take that as a sign. Investigate that. Why am I feeling so stuck around this idea? Why am I not liking this? Maybe a minute ago when I was talking about journaling, you were like, Anne, I've tried it. It doesn't work. That's an emotion that you felt around me suggesting that you write ideas down, right? And so if you had a reaction to that, a negative reaction to that, maybe sit in that for a minute and think about, why is this bothering so much, or why is this bringing up something out of me? I think that's going to be really, really powerful for you. Other things I started doing was listening to podcasts. So at the time, back in 2009, I was listening to Allie Reeves. I was listening to Macy McNeely. That's the Guide Culture or School of Sales. You can find them online. If you sell anything, or even if you think you don't sell anything, go check that out. Ed Milet. I really feel like Ed Milet has kind of changed my life with the different interviewees he's had. Jay Shetty. I listen to Jay Shetty almost every single day when I was out doing walks, which I'll get to in a minute. Those are some podcasts that really uplifted me. But again, if you go to listen to a podcast and you are just not feeling aligned with this person, that is okay. Find what works for you. But right now, take a time out and really reflect on the input that you are putting in your brain. What books, what podcasts, what content are you consuming? And if it's not positive or serving you, it is okay to say, I think I need to seek out something more positive. I need to seek out more action steps. I need to seek out what to be doing. Because that's how you're going to shift your life. You're not going to just all of a sudden wake up one day and be extremely motivated and do all the right things. You got to be that person. You got to live that person. You really need, you may find that you need help from others, and that is okay. Number 3, and I alluded to this already, was I started going for walks. And now number 3 is not necessarily going to be exercise. That's actually going to be a little bit later. Number 3 is going to be get outside. I live in Minnesota, and in the winter, I literally sit inside all the time. And I don't get a ton of sunshine, and I don't get a ton of fresh air. And I really think it pulls my mental state down. And so starting at the end of 2019 and really going into 2020 and during COVID, I was walking all the time. I was getting outside as often as I could. I was sitting on my deck and journaling. And that was a huge shift for me. I found so many benefits to getting outside. I started sleeping better. Maybe that was because I was journaling about my anxieties, or maybe it was because I was walking during sunup and sundown, which resets your rhythm and allows your body's natural state to take over, your natural rhythm to take over, and you are able to sleep better. I definitely saw positive benefits to being outside. Now I go out every single morning and I water my tomatoes and I listen to the birds and I listen at the squirrels yelling at me. We've got deer in our backyard that you can hear them running through the leaves when I open my screen door. We've got turkeys in the back that I can hear them all calling to each other when they get nervous and scared. It's just the best. It's just the best. And it might only be 5 minutes. Sometimes I read outside. Sometimes I drink my coffee outside. Sometimes I journal outside. But get yourself outside. And even in Minnesota, when it is negative 35 degrees, take a few minutes to be outside. Get outside, breathe that air in, and really allow your body to be in nature. It's going to be a game changer for you. I started hiking a lot more. Now I have a son old enough to go hiking with me. We try to get out at least twice a week. We have a state park nearby that we love to walk in. And so just get outside, and I promise you're going to see some benefits. The fourth one is exercise. And I am not going to tell you that I go to the gym and I go work out. I am not going to lie to you. I walk. And some days it's just when I have phone calls. So I work from home and I get on the phone quite a bit. And a lot of times I will get my earbuds in and I will go for a walk the entire phone call. I'll even ask the person on the phone, hey, I'm out for a walk right now just to get outside and move my body while we're on the phone. So could you jot that down and send me an email with that information? Sorry, not sorry. I do not want to sit in an office all day staring at a screen, and just having these moments where I get to move my body, it just changes your brain, and it definitely changes your thought process. And so new environment, just opening yourself up to that fresh air, but also moving your body really gets your mind thinking in a new way. So get yourself outside and get yourself moving. Another thing I've taken up this year that I'm so grateful that I got invited to do was play pickleball. So my husband's boss and his wife started playing pickleball, and while we were at the Christmas party, they said, Anne, would you like to join us? Oh my goodness, I am so grateful that I said yes. I now have this little pocket of 15 community members in my town. Most of them are over the age of 55, and we go play pickleball at least once a week. This summer, we've been playing twice a week. It's just been so nice to get your heart rate up, but laugh at the same time and have fun and learn a new skill. If you have not tried pickleball, I am telling you, I am not athletic, friends. I was a dancer and a cheerleader. I barely played sports at all. And if I did, I was not very good at it. And that is okay, right? It is okay. I have strengths in other areas, and playing sports is not one of them, but I am loving pickleball and finding that I'm getting pretty good at it. So if nothing else from this episode, go play some pickleball and let me know. Send me a message on if you are a pickleball lover or not, because it has kind of changed the game for me in a sense of doing something physical and really sweating and getting my heart rate up and having a lot of fun at the same time, right? And you'll hear that from a lot of people. Find something where you can stay in shape that you actually enjoy, because that's how you're going to want to do it more often than something that you don't enjoy. So that's been a huge one for me as well. And then last but not least, I am going to tell you something that I'm pretty sure you know, but I really want you to think about it. And, the I in impact stands for investigate. And this might be one for you to start with of investigating, which is the phrase goes, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with most. However, I recently read an article from David Barkus who says that's not true. There is research that shows that not only are you the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with most, you're also part of the average of the 5 people those 5 people surround themselves with most. There is now research that suggests a friend of your friend who you don't even need to be around, it can still impact your health. It can impact your weight. It can impact your happiness. And so not only think about who you're hanging out with directly, but who are they around as well? Because now there's this trickle-down effect that is impacting us. And I will tell you that investigating who I was giving my time to back in 2019, but also what kind of conversations we were having needed to shift. I recognized it pretty early that I would get on the phone and I would complain for 45 minutes to somebody. And then I would get another phone call later in the week and I would go for a walk and I would complain for an hour and a half. And then I would listen to them complain as well. And I am not saying that having a conversation and sharing what's going on in your life is bad. Absolutely get that out there and have that conversation. What kind of conversations are you having? Are you talking about other people? Are you talking about yourself? Are you talking about what you need, what you want to do? Are you talking about goals and aspirations? Or are you dwelling on things that are going on? I think that is the biggest one. And so in 2019, I needed to find a group of people that were moving. They were moving forward. They were thinking about how their actions are going to create success. And that's what I would tell you. I would also tell you this. I don't know that I got rid of any of my friends or stopped talking to people. I just was really intentional about the time I was willing to dedicate to other people and the time I wanted to dedicate to myself and my own learning and my own growing. So that's what I would tell you is, where's your time going? And is that helping future you? Or is that holding future you back? At the intro, right, I said I wanted to talk to 2019 Anne. And I just know that if 2019 Anne and 2023 Anne met, it would be like, kind of night and day. There would just be a lot of like, keep going. Set negativity down. You're going to move forward, but you got to set it down. You got to stop and you got to get moving. And so that's what you can do when you surround yourself with the right people. I took a course that put me in a room with people who were also learning and growing at the same time as me for 1 hour every single week. That was a huge game changer. Watching other people say they were going to take an action and then the following week share how they took that action made me say, okay, whoa, I'm surrounded by winners and I need to step up my game if I'm going to be in this group and I'm going to be someone that can support them because I have to be learning and growing at the same time. So I really, really, really suggest you take a look at where you're putting your time, where you're putting your energy, what kind of conversations you're having, and maybe start there with investigation. And you might have to get yourself out of your comfort zone to go get into a group, but maybe there's a book club. Maybe there's a course online you can take. Maybe there's a community online. Maybe you're on Facebook and you're going to go to Facebook and you're going to find a positive group to join. That feed is going to be filled with people taking action and moving their lives forward. That's who you want to surround yourself with. I just thought of another book, by the way. Is it Morning Miracle? Yes, it is. I did read that book in 2019 and that book did change my life. And I still to this day have certain things I do in the morning because of that book. I would actually probably suggest you start there and then go into Psychology of Winning. And then if you're a leader, you definitely need to grab The Power of Positive Leadership. Okay, just really quick, throwing that out there. Going back to what else you can do. If your workspace is really negative, that's obviously what this podcast is all about, how to create a culture around you where you and other people thrive. And so if you are going to work and you feel you're really surrounded by negativity, think about how you are not going to get sucked into that and what actions you need to take. And there might be another journal entry for you is, what actions do I need to take at work to set up boundaries and to move the office forward positively, right? So be thinking about that. If home life is more negative than positive right now, investigate that. What actions can I take at home to help others around me be successful or to really start to shift the culture at home? And that is okay to admit that life at home is stressful too. That's okay. We've all been in it. But if all we do is get stuck there and say, this is how my marriage is going to be for the next 40 years. This is how my kids are going to treat me forever. This is how it's going to feel in this environment. Well, let me tell you, first and foremost, it sure will, because if you're not going to take any actions to really create change, then you're not going to see that change. And again, what if it works? What if you start journaling, you start exercising, you start getting fresh air? What if you start surrounding yourself with people who are learning and growing just like you, and just like you, they have goals and they have dreams and they have aspirations? What is your life going to look like a year from now? I cannot wait to record another podcast in 2024. That's my 41st birthday, to see just how much I grew in 1 year. And what's extremely cool, and I'll leave you with this, is I know there will be growth, because I know that I am committed to continue learning and growing even through the hard, stressful times. What can you be doing so that a year from now you is so grateful that you took the actions you took? Action, action, we want action, ACT. All right, I will not finish that for your health and wellness, but I do want to tell you that action is where it's at. What actions are you going to take today to set yourself up to be that person that you know that you can be, to be that leader that is going to be able to create change? Send me a message over on Instagram, drop a comment on this podcast episode. Tell me, what actions are you willing to commit to? And maybe also, where do you want to go? Where are you headed? And how will these actions get you there? I know that you can do this. I am so proud of you. I cannot wait to see how you set yourself up for success by taking the actions to get you there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this episode with those people you know could really benefit from it. I appreciate all of you. The next episode is all about how to work with that disengaged employee or that disengaged teenager. Come on back and check it out.